Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crown Jewel review. Crown Jewel was interesting for sure. This was probably one of the first PLEs in a long time that you can't pick out a lot of flaws of the PLE. I think that this PLE was definitely worthy of being one of the top PLEs of 2025. I think that it turned out to be one of the top PLEs of 2025, so I'm excited to get into it. So let's hop right in. We started off the show with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, and man, I woke up at around like 7:45, right at the cut line because I wanted to wake up at around 7 so I could watch the countdown and all that, because sometimes they say some stuff that makes me change my predictions. But I did not make it for the starting part of the countdown, but I did catch the last little bit, so that was pretty fun. And then we started off with the main show. We would see Braun come out to help Bronson, where he would put Roman through the announcer's table with Bronson, kind of like a Shield powerbomb. It's kind of what it reminded me of. And then after that, the Usos would come help Roman Reigns. And then the drama started. Jey Uso would spear Roman Reigns through a table where Braun would meet him with a spear, and this causes so much stuff. I mean, obviously, Roman trying to get Jey in this top position, and this is not what Roman was thinking at all. Roman said on Raw that, Jey, you're not the top person. CM Punk is, so go get CM Punk. That's what his main motive was. Jey laid out CM Punk, and now we're just completely kind of running away from that, sticking Jey to Roman and the Vision. I just think we need to get away from this. It's so weird. Jimmy and Jey will be arguing one week, and then the next week they'll be coming out together and acting like nothing ever happened. But then we get to Monday Night Raw, and they're disagreeing again. I just hope that we get to a medium where we can actually have fair storytelling, where we can have Jey be mad at Jimmy and it's not coming back together every time. I just wish that there was a world that we did not have to have Jey rely on Jimmy every time he needs help. It's always going to be that way. That's always what Jey's going to go through. Jimmy's always going to help Jey. Jey's always going to help Jimmy. And Roman's always going to get help from the Usos. So it's like, yes, they're helping each other out, but no, it's not helping any of them. It's just getting them getting put off of TV. So it just gets on my nerves a little bit, but it was definitely interesting to see Jey spear Roman through the table. But Braun obviously spearing Jey. Things starting to get on my nerves with this bloodline stuff, and or the old bloodline as well as division. They're just getting on my nerves. We would then see Bronson hit the tsunami to Roman Reigns to win. We would see them during this match use a cricket bat, a rugby ball, all this other stuff. But it was all right. I definitely thought the crowd would pop more for Bronson because he is from Australia. But it's all right. The match was okay. Definitely think that it should not have opened, but it is opening, so I think that it means something. I will go back and rewatch it and try to figure out why they put it in the opener. Obviously, Roman Reigns, so you're going to put him in some important spot every time, but it is pretty criminal that we put John Cena and AJ Styles in the middle of the show. I think that was a bit whack, but I don't know. I think that Roman and Bronson definitely deserve to be in the middle and not in this opener, because there were so many good matches on the card. I think that you definitely could have started with Tiffany and VAQUER, ended with Rollins and Rhodes, but, personal preference. Backstage is where things got really interesting. Obviously, this was later in the show. Paul Heyman would tell Bronson Reed that when people talk about the Vision, they'll talk about the both of them. And Braun had a awkward look on his face. I think that it's interesting to see this, because we know Paul's been hyping up Braun Breaker for ever since they've came together at WrestleMania and that Raw after Mania. Paul's been saying that he's going to be the main event of WrestleMania, and I always thought there would be some controversy with Bronson, because he's not talking like that to Bronson. He's just calling him the tribal thief for something that Bronson did. But now Braun realizes that the thing that he's been called for so long by this guy is now getting called the same exact thing by the same guy. So I think it might cause some miscommunications in the tag team of the Vision. I hope so. I think I don't want them to break up, but I want them to definitely get further apart. I don't think that we should be, because I cannot remember the last time I saw Rollins and the Bronze together. It's been weeks. So it's just, it's back and forth. It's kind of getting annoying. We would see Heyman tell the Bronze that if Rollins stands on the top rope and waves his hands asking for help, don't. So that was interesting, but Heyman made a clear explanation that made sense. He said that this match is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, and that's what it's going to be. Who's the better man? Who's the better wrestler? Who's going to be the greatest? And that's what it was all about. So it's pretty much who's going to be the top of WWE for as long as we can know. And now we know that's Seth Rollins. But this was very interesting to see how Heyman said this, and Braun definitely did not leave it there. He questioned Bronson Reed. He said, what happens if Rollins loses? In which Heyman would come back and say, Braun, you know what happens. So that's interesting for sure. But I think it's still a trial and error for sure. But yeah, I still think it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I think it's something we need to look out for because it's going to be something it's going to be a hot topic on Monday Night Raw for months to come. I wouldn't be surprised. We would then see Tiffany Stratton face Stephanie VAQUER for the women's Crown Jewel ring / championship. We know that normally we see last year was the first time this was came to the, you know what I mean? Like, this was the first time that it was the Crown Jewel title and all that. That's the first time that it was last year. And we saw Cody and Liv Morgan. Now, this year, we saw Stephanie VAQUER versus Tiffany Stratton for the women's side, where they'll be gifted a ring and a championship, which normally they only carry around the ring whenever it comes Crown Jewel time next year. So this really didn't even mean anything. It's just a PLE that gets people excited. But this match was crazy. We saw the crowd super electric during this match, and I know exactly why. Tiffany honestly made one of the craziest moves I've ever seen. It was insane. Tiffany went off the ropes into a cartwheel to catch VAQUER into an Alabama slam. It was insane. Y'all obviously know what I'm talking about, but man, Tiffany went insane in this match. And I think they both did, honestly. I think that they both showed why they are the top of the women's division in WWE. They showed why they are the best. They showed why there's nobody that can top them. They showed why they are the champions of their respective brands. But we would see probably the most scariest part of the match, which I was pretty worried about. Stratton went for a swanton bomb off the top rope, but VAQUER got her knees up where Stratton's head would land right on her knees. It looked pretty deadly there. We would see, to finish off the match, VAQUER hit the corkscrew off the top rope to win. So that was pretty cool, seeing VAQUER win the Crown Jewel ring / championship. So I'm excited to see if she does carry it around. We might have a change this year. You never know. Obviously, Cody Rhodes started carrying around that ring around a month before Crown Jewel, setting up the Crown Jewel match. So as soon as it started getting in the talks of who Cody's going to face and everything like that, with Rollins being in title matches, obviously we know it turned out to be Rollins. Rollins defended until Crown Jewel. So it was very interesting to see, and I'm excited to see if VAQUER and Rollins is going to carry around that ring at all times. Wouldn't be surprised if VAQUER does. Don't know about Seth. We would then see AJ Styles face John Cena in a match that I was really excited for. AJ would come out in his classic TNA gear, and we would see the chemistry completely bleed through during this match. We would see Cena and AJ look predictable to each other. They were countering each other's moves like nothing else. It was super cool, and I was excited to see how it would match up. We would see Styles at the Yoshi-Goroshi, but it looked like he hurt his knee. We know that he was out with an injury with that same thing, I believe, to Carmelo Hayes. But we would see Cena hit many of different moves of his past opponents and opponents that people thought that he was going to face in this retirement tour, such as the Accolade, the Skull Crushing Finale, the Walls of Jericho, Sister Abigail, draping DDT, as well as he went for the punt kick. And then Styles would pretty much do the same thing, the sleeper Samoa Joe at one of his most iconic rivalries, the AA, the 450, and as well as Sweet Chin Music and the Phenomenal Forearm. In the end, Cena would hit the Tombstone Piledriver into the AA to win the match. I thought that was really cool, and this leaves Cena with 4 dates. It's interesting for sure. I'm super glad we got the match, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that, man, I'm kind of sad that we're getting 4 dates. That means that we're not going to get a lot of build up to his retirement match, so that means it's going to have to be somebody big. It's going to be somebody that has had a lot of history with Cena, and it's going to be somebody that they can build a presence online to where Cena can build up the rivalry and it not be slow like this. Obviously, we never seen Cena and AJ go face-to-face before this match right here at Crown Jewel today. But we did see Styles mention it multiple times on Raw during his promos before matches and even after matches. So that was pretty cool to see how AJ just built it up on his own. And people were saying that was off off script that nobody told him to do that. He just wanted a mic and said that. So that's cool to see how AJ recognized that this feud does not have enough fire on it. So he fueled it up. It was really cool. And then obviously 4 dates remaining. Not very fun to see, but it was exciting to me because I love how I didn't know how much I liked Cena defeating Styles. Obviously, Styles is retiring in 2026. He's already confirmed that. But also, Cena's retiring in, 2 months? So it's super tight right now. I just... either one could have won, and I wouldn't be mad. Obviously, Cena winning is something that I'm completely okay with. I just think that it would have been cool to see AJ Styles win. He hasn't been doing a lot of winning recently. He got teamed with Dragon Lee. That's obviously not what you want as a veteran, as somebody that's about to retire. You want to be in these big storylines, and that's just not what he's going to be in. He's still feuding with Dominic Mysterio, which everybody thought that he would be Intercontinental Champion by now, but he still isn't. So I'm thinking that's now, looking at it, I think that WWE was waiting for this match with John Cena to happen so they could put a title on AJ, but I don't see why you couldn't have brought AJ into a match with Cena with the Intercontinental Championship, but just not put it on the line. I think that Cena could have definitely pressured him to put it on the line, but it wasn't needed. So, yeah, very good match, but the outcome and the match in general, I want to say first and foremost, was incredible. It was something that I don't think people will ever forget. The match right there, many people are saying that it was better than their last matches. I don't think it was that good. I think that, yes, the match was phenomenal, no pun intended, but I do think that, no, it was not better than their last matches. Their last matches cleared these. But aging is a thing, and that's the whole point of why it was definitely not slower, but they took a lot of down breaks, which made me wonder if there was somebody going to come out, but you can't do that. We would then see Rhea and Io versus Kairi and Asuka. This match I thought was going to be weird and have a lot more storytelling, but this whole entire time during this match, it felt like that the match was centered around Rhea getting a hot tag. Rhea obviously being from Australia and her literally being the biggest fan favorite whenever they go to Australia. This was a match that I found as centered around Rhea. The whole entire time, it felt like that Rhea was just standing on the outside and waiting for a hot tag, and the crowd was rallying up every time they would get close to the corner. So it was just something that I was waiting for Rhea to tag in. Eventually, Rhea did tag in. The crowd went bonkers. So I don't know. I think the match could have been better. There could have been more storytelling with the Asuka and the Kairi stuff. But I think that the one obstacle we got over during this match was Io finally being like, I don't care anymore. I'm going against my family. I have to win the match. So she finally started being serious about the match going into Crown Jewel and played this match very serious and won for her team, pinning Kairi. So I thought that was very good. She would land the moonsault. Looked absolutely great. But only pet peeve, like I was saying, storytelling. I think we could have done more with Asuka and Kairi. Kairi obviously not wanting to beat up Io. Oh, she was a big fan of beating up Rhea, but she didn't want to beat up her former friend and Io. So I think that we could have played more into that, but that's obviously something for Monday Night Raw, which would make Raw must see. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play it out. I just hope that they start using Asuka as an English speaker and not screaming every week. Yes, it's funny, but at some point you got to get to the point where you got to make it a serious rivalry. So I just think that, yeah, it's serious and all, but at the same time, Asuka posting memes about Rhea and Io being blue and all this. It's funny, but to the point where the rivalry starts getting bland and it just doesn't get fun anymore. And I think that's the point that we're getting to. So I think that we definitely need to figure some things out before I lose full interest. We would then see in the main event, Cody Rhodes faced Seth Rollins for the men's Crown Jewel title /ring. And Rollins would wear the watch that Cody Rhodes gifted him after WrestleMania 40 for being the Shield for him, as well as he gifted that to Roman Reigns as well. But this was really cool. Rollins' gear had some meaning to it as well, with polka dots on the side, which obviously is a reference to Dusty, but also a reference to their Hell in a Cell match in 2022. So that was interesting to see. I definitely thought that was cool. But then, or I believe 2024, the years are getting by super fast. I don't know where they've went for sure. But yeah, super cool to see his gear. Means something. it was cool. I loved that. Obviously, that Hell in a Cell match being one of the most iconic matches in WWE history, I would take, just because Cody torn pec, coming in there with an actual torn pec and saying, "Now let me go," being not cleared at all, but still going through that and winning the match. I thought it was really cool. So great gear from Rollins, but when does he not? Rollins is a character. And if you really think about it, Rollins is such a character. He'll come out there with the weirdest gear ever, and somehow he makes it where it doesn't look that bad. Like, it's just, nobody can explain him. Rollins would kick out of the Cody Cutter plus the Crossroads. He would hit a coast to coast and a Spanish fly, and Cody would kick out. It was a kick out party. This was pretty much the same thing as Cena versus AJ. They were kicking out of finishers that are famous for not being kicked out of, and they were kicking out. So I don't know what that says about Cena and AJ. Does that mean they're strong, or does that just fully throw shade at everybody's moves that they were doing? Definitely gonna have to figure that one out, because I don't know how much I like them just kicking out of everything. But I think that we shouldn't have went for a pin after every single finisher of somebody else's. But either way, we saw here Rollins kick out of the Cody Cutter and Crossroads, and Cody kicks out of the Coast to Coast and a Spanish Fly, which looked insane. But the Coast to Coast, it looked a bit weird. It was like a headbutt Coast to Coast, or like an elbow Coast to Coast. It was kind of weird. I was expecting him to do like a little drop kick like Shane O'Mac, but he didn't. So it was all right. We would then see Cody hit the Crossroads off the top rope, which looked like it would end the match. It was devastating. And Rollins already messing with that arm and shoulder. He landed directly on it. I thought that was it for sure. But, of course, Seth Rollins kicked out, which is super surprising given the fact that if he would have done that to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, Roman's not kicking out of that. So I don't think we've never seen that out of Cody Rhodes. This was the first time we've seen a top rope Crossroads. Think about how crazy that is. A top rope Crossroads? Come on. Insane. It looked super cool as well. But one thing that had me concerned is that arm of Rollins okay after him messing with it earlier in the match, and then then his whole body weight completely landing on it, including some of Cody's. So interesting for sure. And to end the match, Seth Rollins would use the Rolex that Cody gifted him after Mania 40 to hit Cody, and then he would finish the match with a curb stomp normally, and then a curb stomp off the second rope. So he would end up winning and being the men's Crown Jewel champion, which really means nothing. Yes, it puts his name in the history books for sure, but what Rollins said after the match is what really caught my attention. He said that now, I mean, this was never about who's the greatest of all time. He said, doesn't matter. I am the greatest of all time, and this solidifies that I'm the greatest of all time. I'm in the history books, so now I'm the greatest of all time. He's the greatest on Raw. Championship says it. That's what you have to go off of, whether you like him or not. Championship says it. I don't care if Akira Tozawa was the champion. That means he's the greatest on Raw. It's just how it works. So I love how he said that after the match, that didn't matter if he won or lose. He's still the greatest of all time. And everybody's saying that he can't do it on his own. He completely proved him wrong today by doing it completely by himself, with really no help in the build-up either, except for Cody having to defend himself against the Bronze a couple of times, but Randy Orton obviously helped him with that. So I was expecting Randy to sway in this match for sure. One thing I would have liked to see is, one possibility I would say instead is we could have had Braun and Bronson come out there and then Randy helped Cody. But that's not the direction I was hoping. I was hoping that there would be no interferences in neither of the Crown Jewel matches, which was perfect to see. Obviously, we could have saw Kiana and Julia get involved in the Stephanie and Tiffany match, but they didn't, so that was great. And then Rhodes and Rollins, obviously the Bronze and Orton, which they didn't, so I was super happy. But in the end, Rollins would defeat Rhodes. He's 1-3 against Cody now. So do we see a future match for a winner-takes-all match? Maybe Survivor Series? I don't know. I do think the Vision is going to be involved in the War Games, but it's something that we're definitely going to have to be prepared for, because the Vision's, I believe, is not going to stop anytime soon. So I hope y'all enjoyed Crown Jewel. I know I sure did. It was a very, very good show. I loved it. I think that it meant a lot to WWE right now. Told a lot of story, but I do wish some of the matches would have told a little bit more. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe like it says, I believe, right here whenever it posts the video. But I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.